NCAA basketball totals for Saturday, February 25th. We got 3 games on the card today. Huge slate of game. We're going to jump right into it. Don't forget, we also have our NBA video out there as well. As a reminder, we're doing a live segment that's Sunday through Thursday, as a reminder. So if you missed the live segment, we don't do those on Friday and Saturday. But Sunday through Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern, you got to tune into that. We do totals on that one, and we talk about games as well. Yesterday, 1-1 on our pick, so nothing really going on yesterday. Hopefully, we'll pick up some units today. Overall, for NCAA though, we're sitting at 151 and 124, so that's hovering right around 55%. Can't complain. Let's finish up the year real strong. Let's see if we can keep it going. It's been a pretty good week. We've won 7 out of our last 8 games, but it goes up and down. Last weekend was really bad, so you might want to double check these games I got going just to make sure we're all on top of this together. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I got. Don't forget, also, we got our SBRpicks.com Facebook page. A lot of good handicappers out there. YouTube channel. Got to check it out. Let's dive into some totals. Here we go. First one up, we got UConn and SMU. Oddsmakers have it at 126, and I'm going over. Now, they met earlier in the season at SMU, and they absolutely crushed UConn, 69-49. So it was a little bit surprising for me to see oddsmakers when that total right there was at 123, and now oddsmakers came up with a higher total. The reason for that is because UConn has actually been scoring at a okay clip recently, and I expect for them to be able to put up a lot more points tonight than they did in that matchup. Very good SMU team. They should be able to score as well. But looking at that game, UConn scored 15 points in the first half, and overall they shot 34% from the floor, 31% from distance. The pace actually was not that bad, with SMU getting up 62 attempts compared to UConn at 53. That's not super fast, but 126, a little bit too low. These are two good teams. They both can score. I believe they're going to get over that 126. So without really diving into a ton of statistics, all these are pretty much numbers plays for me today, where we're just kind of going with the odds makers as in comparison to what the numbers they had set last time into what we see today. And also, but just on top of that, statistically, UConn, they're not the dredge offensively. The issue might be the fact that SMU is a really good defensive team, but the fact again that UConn's playing at home makes me believe they're going to be able to put up some points. SMU, they're averaging 73 points per game. They're shooting over 46% from the floor. UConn just 66.7 points per game, and they're only shooting about 43% from the floor. But again, like I keep on saying, they are at home, and when we look at them recently, they put up 70 in a loss against Houston. They put up 64 against Temple, 65 against Memphis, 66 against a really slow Central Florida team. So the way they've been kind of putting up some points recently makes me believe they're going to come into this game with some confidence to get over this 126. So I'm going to go ahead and back over that total with UConn and SMU. Next one up, we got Oregon and Stanford. Kind of the same scenario here. Big number, surprising number, 140 set by odds makers. That was pretty surprising. That's a surprising line. I'm actually going to, I've gone over this, and I've gone over the statistics and everything I want to bring up for this video, but I'm actually going to go back and check Sportsbook Review and double check that line real quick, because I got to make sure that's 100% correct, because that is a big line when the last time these guys met up was a 69-52 final. So let me make sure that wasn't something something I missed, because I make mistakes just like anybody else. So let me double, triple, quadruple check that. As I'm scrolling down here at Sportsbook Review, I got it 140. That is surprising. This is really our opposite play of the day, because you're talking about two pretty good defensive teams. Let's dig into the stats here. So we had a 69-52 final in that last matchup. Similar to that UConn-SMU game, that total in that game was 133.5, in which they went well under the total. Yet oddsmakers felt compelled to come out with 140. Something really doesn't sit right with me in this matchup. And when we look at that game now, as well, the similarities with that other game, with UConn again. Stanford shot 32.3% at Oregon. Now they're at home. They shot 30% from distance. Now they're at home. They got up 62 attempts at Oregon. So I think they're going to be able to score tonight. They beat Cal recently, and they're catching Oregon off a really emotional win. So expect Stanford to put up some points. So Oregon, I believe they might lack a little bit on the defensive side, but that's an Oregon team that can score, and I expect for them to do that tonight. Statistically, Stanford. Let me look at something real quick about Stanford that I wanted to mention. Yeah, they won their last 2 games in a row. They put up 73 against Cal, and then they just put up 79 against Oregon State, 2 really slow tempo teams. And then the games prior to that, they put up 69 against Arizona State, 67 against Arizona, 81 against Utah. So what we're seeing out of Stanford, and this was more I thought we were going to see this year from the Stanford squad, is a little bit more up-tempo, and they've been showing it recently, being able to put up some points. So look for them to go ahead and score against this Oregon team, possibly pull the shocker. I don't know. I think I'm a little hard-pressed to believe that, but that was a really emotional comeback that Oregon did. Is just coming back from at Cal. So this might be a little tighter game. You might want to check the number for that one, for this matchup. We got an Oregon team. They could score 78.9 points per game. Stanford, although they are only averaging 68.9 points per game, and they're only shooting just over 43% from the floor, like I said, recently they've been putting up points at a better tick. So look for both these teams to put up some points tonight and get over that 140, a really surprising high total. And the last one we got going on, now we're going to go the other way. UCLA and Arizona. 160. That seems about right. Last time they matched up, remember they had that really high-scoring affair where Arizona shocked UCLA at UCLA, 96-85. Good tempo, good shooting percentages. So a little bit of a numbers play for me because Arizona can play some great defense at home. Again, that number set by oddsmakers in that game was 160, and they went well over it, that 96-85 final. But they played like a perfect offensive matchup. Arizona shot 50% from the floor, 45% from distance. UCLA 45% from the floor, only 32% from distance. That's a little bit lower than what they normally shoot. Not a lot of turnovers. They didn't get to the line that much. It was really up and down, good tempo. I don't think we're going to quite see that tonight. This UCLA team, surprisingly, for the tempo they run, check out some of their defensive statistics here. Not horrible. I mean, right now they're allowing opponents. Well, let me just tell you this. They rank 36 out of over 300 NCAA teams in opponent shooting efficiency. They're also allowing opponents to shoot just 44.3% on their 2-point shots and just over 41% on their overall shooting percentage. Opponent overall shooting percentage. Not a bad job by Alford there. Statistically, they allow a lot of points though because of the tempo they run. But they're at Arizona, a team that doesn't go nearly as fast as UCLA typically. I mean, they're averaging just 55 attempts per game. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. 2 different styles. I don't think we're going to see as high a scoring affair, and I don't think we're going to get over this 160. That's why I'm going under. Arizona defensively, they're, Miller squad, they're fantastic. They're allowing 64 points per game. That ranks 22nd in the country. So a little bit of a numbers play where oddsmakers didn't change the number at all, despite the fact this went well over the total. So I'm going to back under that 160. And that's it. Let's go ahead and just recap that. We got UConn, SMU over the 126, Oregon, Stanford over the 140, and we got UCLA, Arizona under the 160. Now, again, we're hitting at about a 55% clip. We've had a pretty good week, so you might want to examine these plays again because, regressions do happen throughout the season. But I like these plays. I think we're going to have a decent day. Don't forget, we'll have our NBA picks, totals picks out there as well. We'll make a video for that one, which I'm going to do here shortly. That'll be on the YouTube channel, maybe the Facebook page as well. And our live segment will be back in effect on Sunday, 4 o'clock Eastern. That's it, you guys. I wish you luck on your picks today.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SPR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.